Have you ever heard of Ayurveda, an ancient system of healing that connects the mind, body, and spirit? Joining me is my friend Vita, and we're talking with certified Ayurveda coach Tess Arnold, who's going to help us understand the basics. Welcome, Tess.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for just bringing me on to talk about all things like Ayurveda, which is amazing. And I know it's fundamentally changed my life, and just being able to introduce it into the way that I live, the way that I feel, how I work with my clients and what I teach to them has been such an incredible shift in my overall well-being and fulfillment, and my clients as well. So I'm thrilled to talk about it with you both.
This is so interesting because Vita and I we've never heard of this before.
Yes, and I'm so excited because, I mean, this is going to sound so crazy, but even off of a screen, you seem so zen.
Yeah.
Like you give off this energy of just calm. So help us.
Yes,
we want to know all the things.
everything.
Tell us everything.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, that's how I stumbled upon it, because I was in a place in my life where I was like, okay, uncle, something's got to give. You know, you're juggling all the balls in the air. I had a business that I was getting off the ground for personal life. I was going through a separation and then a divorce and then loss. And I was trying to run a business at the helm of something I knew nothing about while simultaneously working for a large global bank.
Wow.
As you know, really high up within the realms there to be able to navigate digital interface and two small children.
Okay, this is serious.
So I was like, okay, I got nothing. I was like, I've got to help me, please. And I was like, you know, any way that you want to slice it, I was like, send me a sign, whether it's my spirit's guides or my faith or Matthew McConaughey saying green light, you know, I was like, just send me something. So I stumbled upon a retreat that I wanted to go on for Deepak Chopra was having one. And I went to this retreat. I called, you know, a friend of mine who was going to watch the kids. I called family. The time worked for, you know, with work. So it was like green light, green light, green light. And I was like, go. I was like, just go to, you know, Mexico, go stay for 5 days. Everybody's going to be okay, but you have to figure out a way to shift, right? This is not working. I was burning out fundamentally, and I was having a complete identity crisis, which, just a caveat, I think that's perfectly normal. And I think we might go through the multiple times in our life, because to say that we are going to evolve and change is an understatement. There's going to be so many cycles of us throughout our lifetime, and that's a gift. So I just needed help navigating that. At the same time, I did not feel at home within my body, right? It was a feeling of discomfort in my skin, in my sense of what should I do to nourish myself? How do I take care of myself? You know, is it this fad hit class? Is it the, you know, new trending diet that's out there? How do I feel the best? Because I've got a lot of people who I want to support. Yeah. And if I'm not feeling well, how am I going to show up for them?
Exactly.
So I think as a mother, as a woman, it's just a human being who's, you know, part of your community. We have to constantly look at, how am I showing up for myself and the people around me? And can I pause for a second? Can I step into the gap? Can I think about what it is that I could potentially do to help myself, to help them? And that's what I did. I went on a retreat. I did a lot of yoga. I did a lot of classes, and I stumbled into this course on Ayurvedic practices, and I started to eat the food, and I have never felt better in my life than I did that week. And I took a course on it, and I was like, okay. And then I started to study. You know, my fascination became insatiable. I needed to know more about this, because it was the science of life simply translated. I was like, you've got me on the science, you've got me on the life. Let's dig in more. And I feel incredible. Please tell me more.
Okay, we're sold.
You know, it's
right? Exactly. It's like, okay, what else do you need? Because it wasn't something. And I'll tell you what even took me a little bit further into the process, where I was like, thank you. It was a personalized prescription. It was not a one size fits all. And in a world where we are told, where we are shown that we're all supposed to be a certain way, look a certain way, never age, right? Feel incredible. It's like, I was about to throw all that out the window, and I was like, give me a personalized prescription for Tess. I was like, I need this. Okay, and I want somebody to tell me that you are unique, because we ultimately all are. There's not another expression like us on this planet. So I need something for this expression of me that's going to feel good to me. And that's what I found.
This is amazing. So you heard about this from a friend, the actual retreat, and when you went to the retreat, was it a separate class or was the retreat based on Ayurveda?
So it was woven in as, it's interesting because we say we haven't heard about it and we haven't really implemented it into the West culture. As it's a 5,000-year-old body of knowledge dating back to the Vedas. So it's not something that's new that I just stumbled upon. It's something that found me through, people bringing it up. And to answer your question, it was interwoven throughout the entire retreat. All the meals were based on the Ayurvedic practice of healthy living, and you could opt in to take additional information on it. What I chose to do after the session is become submerged in it, learn as much as I can, and then go through the certain qualifications of becoming a certified Ayurvedic health coach, which I did. You can even go further and become a practitioner in it, a doctor who teaches Ayurvedic medicine. So I coach and then can refer out to doctors, to move it forward. But what I do is simply get you into the practice of it, teach you the fundamentals and the basics of it so you can start to beautifully interweave it in your life through that process. There are 6 pillars. And when we get into the pillars, one of them is emotional needs, healthy emotions, right? And so when we get into that, obviously a lot comes up and we get to know ourselves a little bit better, right? We're dealing with the multifaceted parts of ourselves, which are all unique and beautiful, and we accept them and we honor them. So there's interwoven within the Ayurvedic practice, I feel it's a stripping of all of the layers of imbalances that have been placed on us since all the way up to the moment we're born and our parents like, don't do this and be this way. Can't you be like this? And can't you act like your sister? Can't you act like your brother?
So you're deprogramming people in a way?
Deprogramming the people to strip it away to the bare beauty and essence that then starts to really lift and come out of you where you're radiating you. Right? And people are like, you look great. What did you do? And you're like, I just found myself.
Right. So what are the principles? You said there's 6.
Sorry?
So you said there's 6 basic pillars. Yes. So what are the pillars?
Yes, absolutely. So we go through them, and it really depends on my clients which order I'm going to go through. So when they come to me, it's an intake process that we'll go through the intake. We'll see, what is it that brought you to me, right? Because it's a joint agreement to do the work together. So we talk about which pillars we might start with. So nutrition, obviously. We nourish ourselves by what we ingest, and that could be through all the senses. That's just not necessarily food. So based on your dosha, which again is kind of your composition of your body. So there's 3 typically we're bi-doshals, just like, you could have a blood type A, B, or A or B. With the doshas, you have all 3 of them in you, but depending on what shows up for you the most, that's what we'll start to work on imbalances. And that's where we get into the pitta, kapha, and the Veda. So Vata. So that's what we'll go into.
So those are the 3 doshas. The Veda, the Pitta, and the Kapha.
So before we even get into the 6 pillars, somebody will reach out to me. We'll go through sort of a profiling tool to understand the Vata, the Kapha, or the Pitta. So we'll go through the dosha profiling. You'll get a better understanding of what that means and what your composition looks like today. Then we get into primarily the first pillar, the nutritional aspect of it. And then we can move forward from there, whether it's the movement or the breathing, healthy emotions, sleep, right? So sleep is a big one that we don't want to move past. And then one that I particularly love, which is self-care. Now, everybody who's listening that's not going out, as we know, and getting the massages or the mani-pedis or anything like that, right? This is the real good stuff. This is the stuff that you can do at home. Again, with this practice and what I've learned is it's not necessarily we have to go out and buy anything. It's not a 30-day trial. You don't need to take a bunch of different supplements. There are some that you can take. You don't have to go out and do this, sauna and infrared exposure twice a week, because all of that we know gets quite expensive.
Yes.
So what I try to tailor, tell me what you have in your house today. Tell me what we're working with. What can we do to really incorporate self-care practices that you can start doing after our first session, whether that is a healing massage that you do at night in certain parts of the body that really helps to eliminate some of those imbalances, tension, and inflammation, certain oils, rhythm of music, movements is huge. So when we get into the movement pillar, again, it's not a one size fits all. So just as a quick antidote, I love hot, intense yoga. I'm a yoga teacher as well, and I love going to it. I will leave there dragging out of it. It doesn't mean it's the best for me.
Yeah.
It does not. My composition and my dosha, I'm a vata, so I'm like, I can't move. You have done it for the rest of the day.
So each person is that their vata and pitta and kapha, they're all different.
They're all different.
I
yes.
see.
And you can be, a lot of times there's bidoshas, so bidoshal. So you'll see kapha and pitta coming up, or maybe a vata and a pitta combination. And that's where, when we start to walk through this journey together and explain the composition, you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's me, right? It's me. And that's what happens with this process. I am not teaching you anything new. I'm taking you back to what you already knew, but explaining it in such a way that it's something you can use, you can digest, and you can heal yourself from the inside out. Because within the Ayurvedic practice, we do not treat symptoms, we get to the root.
Which makes perfect sense.
I
love this.
Really need to
this
do.
makes perfect sense.
I have a question about the diet aspect. Just out of curiosity.
It always comes back to food for her.
back to the diet. So is it, being like an Asian practice, are there certain principles that are all encompassing? Like, is it like a vegetarian diet? Is there you're allowed to have alcohol? Like, are there rules to the diet?
Yes, so absolutely. So depending on where you are within the journey and the practice, you get deeper in and you can really structure around what it is that you're looking to incorporate. So whether it would be an irritation to certain alcohols that you eliminate based on your composition. So what we do is we come up with a complete comprehensive meal and nutrition plan. So you'll have a grocery list that you'll go to. I'll say, what's in your cabinet now? What can we work with? And we journal. So we journal quite a bit of what it looked like for just today. So if I was working with you, I'd say, if you can, start journaling in your phone or on a notepad, what you're eating today, how you're feeling, and then looking at 24 hours, how does your gut feel? Are you feeling inflamed? Do you feel a little bloated? Different things.
So
like
Vita
that
logs
really
everything that she eats.
Oh, not anymore.
Oh, no? Oh,
I love that.
Logging. Yeah.
She used to log everything
I
that
logged
she
for
eats.
years, and now I'm free of logging. I'm a new woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's a new woman.
Yeah.
And it's just to understand, right? And again, none of this there's no right or wrong. So we go in this with a grace and a gentleness of discovery. Let's figure out for ourselves how we can better understand ourselves and what is going to satiate us. So it's about satiation in a way that's going to last all day, right? So if you're eating, depending on what you're eating, right? How does your microbiome relate to that? How does it digest? How is it feeling? How are your energy levels? How are your cravings, and what is that telling you? And what we have to realize is how we start the day, those cravings are typically going to take place at the later part of the day based on how we've taken care of ourselves. Also, we talk about certain things. I really like to get into glucose spikes, and I do a lot of research. So as a coach who also has other hobbies, I like to bring in my skill set as far as what does the glucose levels look like? How are the fiber intakes? What are we doing? And you can do a complete diagnostic at a doctor that we can relate back to this. Also, what chronic illnesses are we dealing with now, and how can we help through herbal remedies start to look at this, and how can we ask your doctor about that too? Ayurvedic health coaching is not to replace going to a medical doctor or a therapist or anything of that nature. It is a beautiful accompaniment to be able to help support you. But what we've seen as far as the breakthroughs, and I can speak for myself as well, have been absolutely just incredible. And they change your life when you connect to yourself on such a level that bond can never be broken. And you understand yourself down to, I know I ate this earlier today because I was on the road. I was running through the airport. And I know tonight I'm not going to feel great. and I'm all right, but I'm not going to do it again, right? So it's not about cutting out bad habits. It's about addressing the benefits of why we do
and
what
identifying them. That's great. And I love the fact that you're focused on the microbiome and the gut health because it's so important. And do you also recommend more like holistic, integrative doctors to your patients?
I do. And on the Chopra site, so on the, if you go to the Chopra site where I'm listed there as a certified provider for the health coaching, you do have practitioners that you can look up in your area. So if you wanted to go and visit, you'd be able to see, which is fantastic. Also, there's a lot of practices typically in the more cosmopolitan areas, you do have better luck, but you can also get somebody online or through Zoom too. Or if you were working with me, I could also refer to you. But absolutely, I mean, there's great doctors, you know, I have a profound respect for them. I think we as just a culture here in the East, right? In the West, in the East, it's been going on for a long time when we get into the treating the root and not the symptoms.
So
right?
important.
Exactly. A 5,000-year-old practice from the Vedas in India, I mean, is fundamental. It's a beautiful gift to us to be able to pull that into our lives as such a young, you know, culture in its infancy. And when we look at the medical practice and everything that we're doing, but I want to go and talk to my doctor about the root cause. I don't want to treat symptoms. I don't want to be, reactive. I want to be proactive. And when we talk about quality of life and longevity, yes, I'd like to be old for a very long time and watch my children grow old, but I want that quality of life to be at its highest. So I eventually can run around and chase grandkids all around the earth. That I get to walk, you know, my grandkids down the aisle when they're getting married or whatever it might be, or just be there for them, but have this profound connection to who I am, how I'm taking care of myself, and then I can give that gift to others.
So what happened after this retreat? So did you quit your job? Did you quit your high profile job and then started doing this full time?
I did. I started doing it full time. I had a secondary business that I was running as well. I wrote a book, so Step Into the Gap. So I did that through the journey, which again, when you start to remove the imbalances, it really just shows so much potential and creativity, right? So when we get stuck in imbalances and so much weight on us, that's where our creativity is stifled. And people are like, I'm not creative. I can't do anything. I promise you, you are.
I can relate to you. I can relate to the similar, well, not the Ayurveda, but a similar situation after my separation.
There's something for all of us, right? Yeah. I like to say one of my favorite passages that I read from somewhere was, we are all on the same journey, right? We're all just walking each other home.
Yes.
So
that's great. I love that.
We all are hand in hand, walking each other home, being of service to others. It's one of the most wonderful ways to just take care of yourself is to be of service to others. Right. And I knew that that was my calling, especially with everything that I had gone through in my personal life. I knew that I had to get out of my own way, let the ego kind of die a little bit. And it wasn't about me anymore. It was about taking care of myself. But then I had to learn fundamentally how I could then practice this for others.
I mean, you're incredible. This is amazing. And we're so happy that we met you because we had no idea what this was. And I love it. How can our viewers reach you?
Absolutely. So they can reach out, Tess Arnold, on all the socials or sites, and I promise you, just reach out. I'm happy to get back to you. I love to talk, obviously. So balanceofyou.com, Tessa@balanceofyou.com is going to be the best way to reach me via email. If you reach out and would like to take your dosha profiling, I'd be happy to send you over the tool or talk more about it. If you'd like to find out more information, please go to balanceofyou.com, where you can read about all the different doshas, the composition of it, more about the Ayurvedic 101, the science of life, and how you can beautifully incorporate it into your body.
This is amazing. Thank you so much. I love this interview. I loved having you on the show, and I definitely want to learn more about this. And we'll also include everything in our show notes as well. And thank you so much. It was so great to meet you.
Thank you both. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
If you like what you're hearing on the show, that makes my day. And you can show us some love by liking and subscribing to Party's Over. Follow me on Instagram at Sandra Silverman and pick up my book, From Bullshit to Botox, for much more.